बैटरी लगा दे सामने। डाउन भी तो है, नहीं डाउन कोई सी भी लगा देता। फुल फ्रेम, हाफ फ्रेम, भैया सेट करना देगा, अपना सेट करने दो।
सेक्रेटरी एमपी सब आए, वो इसीलिए थोड़ा सा मेरे को लग रहा था, मैंने कहा क्या करेंगे इसके अलावा कुछ
बैठेंगे, आइए ग्राउंड लगाते हैं उधर।
जो आना है उतना निकलने वाला है,
जी खत्म
दो चार दिन मिल गए और पहचान मिल गई, जो बंदा भी है वो भी मिल गया है श्रीलंका वाला, नेक्स्ट टाइम उसके साथ पहचान लिया। आपको तो ज़्यादा मिलिट्री की मांगे ना, वही पहचान के उसके साथ खड़े थे, क्या बोलते हैं, क्या नाम है, बहुत कम है, एक तो वो सेक्रेटरी वाली डिप्टी वाली है, एक तो वो दिख रही है कि अपनी किसी दिख रही है, तीन चार लोग, हाँ ज़्यादा तो दिखे नहीं, टाइम तो बड़े होने चाहिए, 50 देखा ही नहीं मेरा खाना। देखो मैम क्या मजा करूँ, बड़े लोग अच्छा बोलते हैं, सुनने से अच्छा लगता है, बाकी तो आदमी तो मैं वो छोटे ही हूँ। क्या मजाक कर रहे हैं? अभी नहीं लास्ट वीक अप्रैल में कभी डेट जानी है आसाम में है ना। जैसे ही एक बंदी आई क्या और नहीं सर एक्चुअली तो बहुत जल्दी
ठीक है जी, इसको सब लोग खड़े हुए सबका समझ मेरी बात इधर लेवल में आगे आराम से ले बेटा पास वहाँ से ले मैंने कहा था उनसे उसको हैंड हैंडल करके चला लेंगे आप ईमेल आई डी देख लेंगे यार अभी तो उसको रिकॉर्ड कर दो ठीक है अच्छा सुन इधर रख इसको बहन से इसमें देखो वीडियो आ रही है ना हाँ भैया आपको रियलाइज कराने लाइट आ रही है कोई बात नहीं आ जाएंगे जल्दी पूछने बहुत में कहीं गैदरिंग नहीं मैंने वो लगा रखा है हाँ हाँ
important photo they are tourist boat Sri Lanka tourist boat come
अरे यार ट्राइपॉड लेके मैं कहाँ कहाँ जाऊँ वीडियो में
Yeah, look here. One more.
my friend just take from the boat
ये कह रहे मेरी नाम से बात हो गई है हाँ तो हॉल के अंदर ही तो हूँ भैया ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है हाँ ट्राइपॉड पे ही है
वेट क्या लुक क्या Excuse me. One more. वो आ जाएगी.
दीदी वाला कहाँ है? दीदी
यहाँ रख लो, यहाँ से बढ़िया रहेगा ना. क्योंकि मेरे को आ रहा है, मैं इसलिए आपको क्लियर बता रहा हूँ. आप कहोगे भैया बल्लू एक जगह रहने दो उसको. पैर पीछे कर दो बस, पैर ना करना. उनका अपना ही चैनल है भैया, अपना ही वो है लैपटॉप जो मेल आई भैया वो फोन नंबर फटाफट इसमें नेट चलेगा ना पड़ेगा नेट से मेल होगा ना मेल खोलनी पड़ेगी। क्या हो रहा है?
Good evening, namaskar, vanakkam, sat sri akal, welcome to all my friends and a special welcome, special ayubowan to all our Sri Lankan friends here to the evening. I think we all have gathered here for something special going to happen in Sri Lanka during the month of April. So we expect a louder round of applause for that. And that was specially to keep all of you awake. I hope the entertaining evening will keep you. The treasurer, if all four of you could come up, please, ma'am. जहां तालियों की कमी होगी वहां श्रीलंका में भी कमी हो जाएगी. So this is the team which is working day in and day out. I think they have 48 hours in their clock. The way they are working, it seems like they have to both the hands up with 24 hours each. To start the evening, would like to request Madam Rupendra Bararji. She is the Additional Director General for Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. I'll request Madam if you can come up, and Madam President, if you could give her a welcome bouquet.
यार इसको बैठाना भाई बोल भैया पीछे गया अनिल
Please, ma'am. Next, we would like to request His Excellency.
भैया फोन
Next, I would like to request Mr. Thilak Veerasinghe, President of Slsito, to please come up, and I'll request Mr. Lokesh Bataya to acknowledge his presence here. Next, Mr. Madhubani Pereira, Director of PR for SLTV. Please, ma'am, if you can come up, and I'll request Sriramji to present a token of appreciation to her. To present a token of appreciation to him. In the times when I'll request Madam President to hand over a token of appreciation to him, please. Manager for Sri Lankan Tourism Promotion Bureau, she is here. Thanks to COVID, we have experienced many times virtual presence of most of our dignitaries. One of them present today virtually is Miss Kimberly. She is the chairperson for SLPTV. So thank you for being present virtually, and I'll request all our office bearers to please be on the dais, and we should start the evening. Thank you. To start the evening, can I request our Vice President, Mr. Jay Bhatia, to come on dais and give the welcome address. Thank you.
Thank you, Manabhai. It's a fantastic presentation for all. Welcome, Ayubuan and Namastai. It's a great opportunity to welcome all the members and the dignitaries on the dais to this event, which is a press conference as well as the release of the brochure of the Taai Convention, which is Collaborate to Conquer for the Indian Travel Congress. May I have a round of applause for this, please? Post-COVID, it's going to be our first major event, and especially thanks to the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Board and SLsito, that is the Inbound Tourism Association of Sri Lanka, that has invited Taai and its members to visit Sri Lanka. Special thanks to India Tourism, to Sri Lankan Airlines, Indigo Airlines, as well as all the partners and dignitaries who are present today. Without this, it is not going to be possible. So looking forward to welcoming you all, Taai members and the trade at large, to Sri Lanka for the Taai Convention. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bhatia. Next, I would like to request His Excellency Mr. Niluka, Acting High Commissioner for Sri Lanka, High Commission in India, to please come up and give your welcome address to the audience here, please. There's one thing which everyone on the dais expect from all of us is
Ayubowan, Namaste, good evening to you all. Mrs. Jyoti Mayal, President, Mr. Jay Bhatia, Vice President and committee members of the Travel Agents Association of India, Mr. Tilak Veerasinghe, President, Sri Lanka Association of Tour Operators, and the executive members of that association who are present here today, who have come from Sri Lanka. distinguished representatives from the Ministries of Tourism of the Government of India and the Government of Sri Lanka, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, friends. I consider it a great privilege and honor to address this networking session, Roadshow, and the press conference organized by the Travel Agents Association of India and the Sri Lanka Association of Tour Operators. I was delighted to learn that Taai is organizing their 66th annual convention in Sri Lanka, especially at a time when we are assiduously working towards rebuilding the tourism industry in Sri Lanka, which was adversely affected by the pandemic. On behalf of the High Commission of Sri Lanka in New Delhi, I would like to take this opportunity to extend our heartfelt appreciation for Taai President Mrs. Mayal and her team for choosing Sri Lanka as the venue of the association's annual convention. As you are aware, India is our largest tourist market, and with India opening up its skies for international flight operations post-pandemic, the decision to hold the Taai, an Indian Travel Conference 2022 in Colombo is very timely. We are equally glad to hear that Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau, which is represented here today, is the main sponsor of the event, and the Sri Lanka Association of Tour Operators and the Sri Lankan Airlines are partnering to organize it. As global tourism revives, despite hiccups imposed by Omicron variant, many countries in the world are busy preparing their strategies to get back on the global tourism map. However, we are well ahead of the game, as we have used the forced break due to COVID-19 to not only to think through a strategy for a comeback, but also to prepare ourselves and our stakeholders for a revival. In this process, we are banking on the immense diversity that we offer within our country's compact size and the good global connectivity. We are also counting on proximity to key markets like India in a reopened world. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic has undoubtedly been unprecedented on almost all spheres of economic activity. However, it has impacted the global travel and tourism industry the most. Although the years 2020 and 2021 consecutively witnessed a sharp fall in tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka, all is not bleak for the sector. With the economies of major countries, including that of India, showing a remarkable rebound since late 2021, Sri Lanka is once again gearing up to becoming the favorite destination for international travelers, especially travelers from India. A timely and universal vaccination program by the government of Sri Lanka has resulted in almost the entire population in Sri Lanka being totally vaccinated, and in most cases with 3 doses of the COVID-19 vaccination. Further, there have been no reported cases of vaccine hesitancy in Sri Lanka, and as such, the spread of the various strains and variants of the virus has been effectively contained. Ladies and gentlemen, as per the available data, Sri Lanka witnessed a footfall of 178,000 international tourists in the first 2 months of 2022. The majority of these travelers were from Russia, India, the United Kingdom, Germany, and France. Here I would like to point out that with the ease in global travel restrictions, particularly with India commencing its regular scheduled international flights from 27th March 2022, and the extension of on-arrival visa facility for Indian nationals, Sri Lanka is confident that the tourism sector will witness a significant revival in the coming months. Sri Lanka offers a multitude of terrains, flora and fauna, all within a close geographic proximity, which makes it easier for travelers with varied outlooks and tastes to enjoy the beautiful blend as a group or in individual capacity. Coupled with the legendary hospitality of the people of our country, this is a perfect destination for people who need to unwind after the prolonged confinement unleashed by the unprecedented global pandemic. I'm confident that this Taai convention will go a long way in projecting the potential of Sri Lanka as the tourist destination in this part of the world, and incite the travelers to explore this island nation which has so much to offer to travelers across the board. I'm also convinced that this convention will result in not only Sri Lanka rebounding to its pre-pandemic inbound tourist numbers, but will surpass them. And we in Sri Lanka are ready with open arms and commensurate infrastructure to welcome the world to the paradise. I thank you. Bahut dhanyawad.
Thank you, sir. Such kind words and information coming from your mouth means a statement to all of us. And definitely it's so much encouraging, and we all look forward for our convention in Sri Lanka. Next, I would request upon a personality. She needs no introduction in Indian tourism market. She, in true sense, is the Shakti for the tourism industry in India. I would request Madam Rupender, please, if you could address this audience with your thoughts and the journey so far. Thank you, ma'am.
So good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for that indulgent introduction. And I want to thank, before I begin with some of my thoughts, which can ramble into a lot of thoughts. And so I've tried to bring a document for the simple reason so that I don't keep talking. And I, at the outset, want to congratulate Taai under the leadership of a very dynamic president who I've been interacting with for past 2.5 years. Not only does she look brilliant, but she acts and thinks brilliant. And so I think Anna will go take a call, but I would definitely like to recognize the president, the very benign, I would say, presence of the acting High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to India, Mr. Niluka Kaduru Gamuva, who in his thoughts, and we've just heard him, and I think he is definitely here to make a difference. So I think we are looking to very exciting times as we kind of recover from COVID. To all the office bearers of Taai who are here on the dais, and all the friends from the fraternity who are here, all the members of Slsito who are on the dais and who are away from the dais, the media, and members of the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau, and everybody else who is here and is interested in taking tourism forward. While I have written a lot of things, but I think I will try and say things from my heart and not from what is written here, is that I think we could not have had this convention, the 66th, from Taai at a better time. 27th March is when the regular flights have been starting. Mr. Goyal is smiling on that. He's been a big force in nudging, pushing, reminding, and keeping saying, बहुत तो नहीं कह दिया मैंने आपको, पर तो रोज ही याद करा रहा हूँ. But I think it's the joint effort of everyone, which has brought us where we are. And on behalf of the government, I would in fact like to thank everyone. To be very patient, because if I look back to where we were in 2020, none of us could have imagined that in 2022 we circumstance, and after the initial kind of a shocked setback, which was obviously hitting everyone, the kind of ideas that started coming to us and what we could do in this period of adversity to actually think differently and how to reboot, re-engineer, reprocess. I think it's been a beautiful journey, and I must congratulate Taai for having been a very vibrant part of our thinking process as to what should India be doing. So many congratulations to Taai once again on that. Why I would say we today on 23rd of March, just 4 days before the flights resume, and also India very recently announcing the full opening of visas. I know there are a few pain points still. We are working on that. But most countries, the e-visas have resumed, have opened. And in the last few months, in fact, when the 1 month visa opened, the free visa, the free tourist visa, and before Omicron happened, I think what is really wonderful and what is really encouraging as trends is that there's been a lot of interest in looking at India. In fact, today morning we were again looking at data from TripAdvisor, and it's very heartening to see that within the region travel, and that assumes a lot of significance for today's meeting here, the regional travel of South Asia, Southeast Asia, the neighboring countries, there's a lot of interest. And all this is data driven, so it is not just intuitive. It is a lot of research data which tells us that in the times to come, India is a hugely favored destination. And while we work together with our neighboring countries, and Sri Lanka, of course, being a beautiful emerald, which I'm sure a lot of you have visited, I have been fortunate enough to visit Sri Lanka. I think for giving the tourists that holistic experience, it's a fantastic opportunity for us to come together and create itineraries that are far more diverse and far more comprehensive as far as the tourist is concerned. And over a period of time, when we are able to get back with far more interest the tourists from the long-haul destinations of the US, UK and the Europe markets, and also Japan, I think again there is a huge potential between Sri Lanka and us to work together to create meaningful itineraries for a tourist coming from afar. And of particular interest to the entire region, and we as a ministry are working very closely on that subject. It's a subject, in fact, very close also to our Honorable Prime Minister's heart, is the Buddhist heritage. And we understand that our friends from Sri Lanka also give it a huge amount of priority. And we look forward to working with you together to bring in a lot of tourists from the rest of Southeast Asia, South Asia and the Far East in terms of leveraging on our common cultures, on our common heritage, and building those, as I said, those comprehensive takeaways from the tourist point of view. So I think Taai and the Sri Lanka Tourism Board and the governments on both the sides have a lot of work to do as we rebuild and make sure that the region becomes very, very attractive for tourists from all over the world. In India, apart from doing work that we are directly doing from the ministry, of course, the very robust vaccination campaign is something that we believe is going to come in very handy. Yesterday's data suggested more than 181 crore of vaccinations done and completed. And today, as we all sit here, I think we all need to feel happy about the fact that, number one, we are fit and fine and so attending the event and not wearing masks. I think that's an amazing achievement to look back to. And yes, definitely, I think we all deserve to congratulate ourselves in having respected the protocols, in having been a very responsible citizenry on going ahead and getting the vaccines done when we were required to do that. And at every single time, and I say that with great pride everywhere, that every single time when we went for a campaign telling everybody around, mask up, keep your distances, all of us, all our brethren, sisters, children, elders, everyone has respected that. And that's why, yes, there have been damages. People have, for all of us to work with a lot more aggressive passion and make sure that if there are any of those little hiccups, FAQs are being awaited. I know some people looking at me, where are the FAQs? FAQs from the Health Ministry coming up, so that those little wrinkles that are here and there need to be ironed out. And in terms of partnerships, I think there is as much as can be said on that. And in terms of leveraging also on flights, we would be very happy if there can even be some special flights that can be thought through, where we don't just talk about itineraries, but actually enabling those itineraries. Recently, the ministry entered into an MOU with the Alliance Air, and I hope, Jyoti, that in times to come, the MOUs that you've done with the neighboring countries especially, can also converge with MOUs of these kinds, and where we can bring in a lot of convergence, meaningful convergence in terms of creating itineraries that can be driven by some of these MOUs actually. India, we've been trying to work a lot on infrastructure, and we are happy to share a lot of progress on roads. And so today, when the TripAdvisor data shows the second largest road network that we have in India today, and with Kushinagar International Airport going operational, and of course we had a delegation come in from Sri Lanka with a relic of the Lord. I think again, a lot of things have been happening in the past few months, even when travel was not happening. And now is the time to leverage on all that has happened in the last couple of years to really kind of not just make up for the losses in financial terms, but I think also in terms of emotional terms. Just being in a room together with people, a lot of you we've been interacting on the web screen. Clearly, there is no comparison in being physically here and have Ashish smiling right here and not just through the screen. So I think a lot of us need to cover that kind of a ground where we are able to do far many more events and leverage, as I said, on all the work that we've done. From the ministry's perspective, I assure all of you, and I look forward to working with the Sri Lanka Tourism Board in creating a lot of campaigns together. I think not only should the intent be left at a discussion level, but it needs to manifest in terms of maybe even creating some joint promotional material together. And that will really go a long way in creating the kind of, not just having a friendship, but making it perceivably so. So we'd be very happy to work with the Sri Lanka Tourism Board in co-creating some content. When we talk of joint itineraries, it could start with very simple things being posted on social media, and I'm sure we can take a lot of things together. The simple, sometimes things of life can be very endearing to a tourist. I remember going to Sri Lanka and simply the way that you wear your saris. We wear our saris very beautifully too, but I think you guys just do it that much more beautifully. So small things and food, there's just so much convergence on which I think we can create a lot of content together, not just about the Buddhist heritage, but a lot of other elements that are somewhere similar, but somewhere also different, and thereby adding value from the tourist point of view, where you go to something reasonably similar, you are headed to an Asian culture, so you're looking at things in a way, but you're also looking at things in a different way. And I think that's a story which our region should be looking at building. And last but not the least, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all our friends from Sri Lanka and look forward to working together in the true spirit of Atithi Dev Bhava. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And it is indeed because of your support and guidance that the journey post-COVID has been not only smooth, but has been very encouraging for most of the agents, mostly all the agents present here and in India. Once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. Next, we are done with 1C. I love to believe that we are done with 1C, COVID, and we are getting prepared for the other C, which is our convention. So I would like to call upon a personality. She not only commands but also demands work from all of us. I know we all will laugh, the first benchers will all laugh, but she in true sense is a revamped Thai image. She, under her leadership, we all have started dreaming and thinking that yes, we can achieve, and definitely we will achieve whatever we have dreamed. I would like to request our Madam President, Mrs. Jyoti Mayal. Ma'am, if you could address the audience and give your presentation, please. She works 24 hours and we sleep 12 hours.
But I think there was some confusion. I expected Tilak to speak before me, so that's why I was not prepared. I was just enjoying everyone's talks. So it was suddenly came as a surprise that I'm speaking before Tilak. So Tilak, you're going to get the last opportunity. I'm so sorry. Now that my name is announced, I'm going to bask in my glory. So that's what it is. And good evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here again, reconnecting and re-collaborating. And it's a real welcome, and thank you so much for everyone on the dais, all dignitaries on the dais. I'm so happy that you all could join us. I would also like to thank all the dignitaries across me, which I think I'm facing much more than the ones I'm facing on the dais. So, and of course, we have stalwarts like Mr. Subhash Goyal sitting here, we have Balbir Mayal sitting here, the past president of Taai, and of course the media and all senior and junior and younger, not junior, but younger to me. So it's lovely seeing all of you, and thank you once again for joining me here to take this, our initiative of Taai forward. And this is the collective team of Taai which has come from all over India to even join us here. So thank you, chairpersons, thank you, office bearers, thank you, MC, thank you everyone for being here and making this a huge success. Yes, so we need to talk about the convention. We heard lovely views from Rupinderji, how she actually spoke about with passion. She always speaks with passion about tourism, and we love her for that. And we heard the High Commissioner say beautiful words, and we're looking so forward to move to Sri Lanka and enjoy and explore, like Rupinder said, the emerald. So I think that's time for us to move forward. But just to give you a quick thoughts on what the convention is going to be about. So that's the 66th convention of exhibition of Taai, which is going to be held from the 19th to the 22nd of April 2022. So we all know what Taai is about because we are all Taai members here, but still to give it a little more emphasis, because I think I'm very proud to be a Taai member and truly am a bearer of the Taai name, which I feel is something we're very proud to be about. So we were established in 1951, which says a lot for our age. We are old enough to be recognized. We are the oldest nodal body, and I say it, the premier body of associations, and I say that very proudly. And we have nearly 2,700 members. We have 20 region chapters spread over all India who are connecting, reconnecting, and collaborating with all stakeholders to see how we can progress and do business and create opportunities for the entire industry. So the Indian Travel Congress, what we call Taai Convention, is supposed to be, it's something which is eagerly awaited, and you can see how we all collected here and we are so happy to be just thinking about it. We haven't even reached Colombo, and someone told me, are we already in Colombo? So I said, wow. So that says for everyone, you here, and I think you all need an applause from all our sides, so that, you know, you've been such a motivator for all of us to say that how we can take this forward. So yes, everyone looks forward to Taai because it's time to reconnect, reinvent ourselves, collaborate, and restructure ourselves after post-COVID, because I think after post-COVID we have a lot to do, because it's a new world. A new world, we are taking baby steps to see how we can move forward with them. So Taai opportunities which we actually offer to all our members. So we have a gambit of tourism people in our association. So we do not have any one avenue and stream of people who belong to Taai. So we are into leisure, we are into hospitality, we are into sports tourism, we are into airline ticketing, we are into outbound tourism, we are into Hindu tourism, Buddhist tourism. So there's nothing that's actually lagging. We're also in training and education opportunities. We do a lot of weddings, we do a lot of wellness. We are into inbound, we are also into outbound. So I think that says a lot for Taai. And we do believe that Taai is one association which actually promotes destinations and specializes in promoting these. So why are we doing this convention, and why do we keep doing it every year? I think because we need to facilitate bilateral tourism, and that's what this thought process was when actually we as an association approached Slsito and said, how can we really collaborate to do things together? Because our convention brings a lot of interactions and addresses by the dignitaries, as we have on the dais today, and with politicians, diplomats, high commissioners, ambassadors, and our networking events are known to all, and people are already looking forward to it. They want to explore new opportunities with a lot of new knowledge sessions, roundtable meetings, conference, B2B meetings. And of course, the interesting itinerary, which we are very confident our partners, Slsito and the Sri Lankan Tourism Promotion Bureau, who are our major sponsors, are going to be looking after. Just to talk about a little bit about the statistics, and I feel that, you know, the figure which you see on the screen, I mean, in the top 10, we don't see Sri Lanka anywhere where the FTAs of India is concerned. We hardly see that. It's such a minuscule, you know, it's just 2.5% of the entire entire inbound that is happening in India. And also the other way around, I think even Indians traveling to Sri Lanka, I mean, what is it? Just 4 lakh people, which is nothing. I mean, such a huge population of our country. And look at the figures. Sometimes I feel ashamed to say we are one region. We are connecting, we share borders, we share so much of heritage, so much of culture, so much of ancient history. And our forefathers or fathers, you know, have all been connected somehow or the other. But look at the numbers that we have on the screen. I think it's very depressing sometimes, but I think that's why Taai is taking that initiative to move forward. So taking that, why we are taking India to Sri Lanka, and that's why I say that, because bilateral travel and tourism promotion is the need of the hour. We are a resilient industry, and I heard Rupinder say that. I also heard his High Commissioner say that, and I think that that is what we need to build up on our strengths, because that is the need of the hour. We need to create many more opportunities and see how we can promote tourism, which is our border. So all the BIMSTEC countries, all the SAARC countries, where we feel are more of a domestic for us. Imagine going from Bangalore to Sri Lanka. It doesn't even take 1 hour. And it takes me more time to go to Mumbai. So I think these are the strengths synergies that we need to work on. And that is where we as Taai would like to be a catalyst of growth between both the countries and the region to say how we can develop that. Come what may, there will be many crises going forward in life. There could be many more COVIDs coming. We don't know what the future holds for us. But we need to see the strength of ourselves. We need to see how we can work together, that we are one region, literally like one nation. And I've said this to Rupinder many times, and on the meetings also I've said this many times. Let's take India as one state, and let's take the regions as one country, and build on policies, build on regional passports, build on regional visas, we build on maybe taxes also, and see how we can promote tourism going forward. And that is why I thought the need of doing this convention in Sri Lanka really mattered to me. Of course, the figures say it all again, and this is what we are talking about, figures, and I don't want to get into figures because I think these figures are the past. Once Taai convention happens in Sri Lanka, I'm sure it's going to multiply multifold, because we've seen that in the past, that whichever country, whichever state also we've gone to, it has not only doubled, it's 5 times the footfalls have increased when Taai leads that. So of course, like I said, the regional tourism is our goal, and that is what we will take our convention to, and that is how I plan, and we as a team are thinking of promoting regional tourism when we go to Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka being the focal point. I've also said this many times, you know, we've missed some opportunities in the past, and I also always say that in the past lies our future. So we need to rebuild on the mistakes, we need to keep building on the mistakes we've actually committed earlier. So we've lost some opportunities that we did not make India the largest hub of East and the West, and we could have done that. And now I think it's time, as crisis does bring opportunities, I also feel that we are starting from ground zero, and that is where we need to rebuild and quickly not lose this opportunity again to build this into a huge opportunity of creating the entire region into a big hub. There are countries who are wooing us. We have seen that in the lockdown, there are countries like Dubai and Maldives, which now even Sri Lanka now, we are the #1 source market for them. So why aren't we able to connect this region to make it the largest hub of the world? We do not want other countries to take it. We want this region to take it forward themselves. So mutual growth and post-collaboration is what is required. And we truly work with openness and transparency. We like to work with strategic collaborations, simplified communications, joint meeting exercises, clarity of common goals, mutual trust and vision formation. That is what Taai is all about, and that is what we need to build on. Important, but I like to also say, I believe in Mark Twain a lot, and I always remember his words that synergy is the bonus that is achieved when things work together harmoniously. And that is what we need to do. And I also remember something else about collaboration while I'm talking to you, and I see Ashish nodding his head, and I also see Mr. Subhash Goyal, being always a promoter of Sri Lanka so much, running Sri Lankan airline. I've noticed that. I think collaboration allows us to know more than we are capable of, knowing of ourselves, and that is very important. I think we'll launch the logo later. So we'll have Mr. Tilak. Thank you so much for hearing me patiently. But I'm also like Rupinda, when we start talking about tourism, there's no stopping. Thank you so much.
Indeed, it's a pleasure to listen to both the dynamic ladies, and I'm sure we would not mind listening to you more. But, well, we have a shortage of time because we all want to enjoy and indulge with meeting each other. But next, I would like to call upon Mr. Tilak Veerasinghe, President of Slsito, to, sir, if you can come up and address the audience. Thank you. He is our guest, and how do we meet our guests in India? Thank you.
Ayubowan and good evening. Madam Jyoti Mayal, President, the Travel Agency Association of India, Taai, all office bearers and members of Taai, and Indian tourism officials, Madam, and then Sri Lankan, His Excellency Niluka Kadurugamo, Deputy High Commissioner of Sri Lankan Embassy, all invitees, media, ladies and gentlemen. It gave me a great pleasure as the President of Sri Lanka Association for Inbound Tour Operators, Slsito, to be with you for Taai Slsito networking, then Roadshow, and also media conference. So thank you very much for inviting us, and thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to be with you today. So tourism in between our two nations is gone back to centuries. Actually, if you look at all the travel books and whatever it has been written about India-Sri Lanka relationship in travel, it has very old history. But the Slsito and the Taai is also having long understanding, a relationship for some decades. And actually, our previous presidents of the association and members of industry kept us together, even for us as a juniors to be here today and take the relationship forward. We time to time did a lot of different projects for mutual benefits. And it is very important to remember that India has been supported Sri Lanka tourism for many years. It is not only that we started tourism to your country because we had a number of pilgrims start to come, but recent past, for last I think 20 years, that we got huge support. Even during the unrest period in Sri Lanka, I remember India came out and started the promotion called Buy One, Get One Off. That was one of the successful programs. With all that, this time we must give a special thanks to Ms. Jyoti Mayal and his managing team of this event. They selected the Sri Lanka as the destination for 66th annual conference at a very much need time for Sri Lanka tourism. I have to thank you, thank all your team for the great support
And it shouldn't have been done like this, but they came all the way to Sri Lanka. They spent their time from morning to evening checking, controlling, and meeting the government and non-government officers, and also following the health guideline. I remember they sometimes goes from Colombo in the morning to Negombo to check some hotel foods. I think they had a very tough time in Colombo to make sure all the hotels, because after pandemic, you know, there was about almost 2 years, the industry was bit of shut down. But they made sure where you are coming for your conference, everything is under their guideline. So that itself we must stand there. So it will be actually the time that we started this event. It support the both country for much needed expos that both we need. Because now, if we talk about when you are in Sri Lanka, you know what exactly protocol that you will have to follow. Since we came here, for yesterday, day before yesterday, some of us, we knew what are the protocol to be followed. As long as if we do correct things, if it is, you know, if you fulfill all the data, it's so easy to travel. But we are not aware of it. So this event is not only for Indian travel trade to visit us, and you will interact with a lot of Sri Lankan travel trade who also sell programs out of the country. Taai Slsito, together with Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau, assure you that we will do our best to make this event successful and enjoyable one. So looking forward to meet all of you and get ready, because as I clearly said, again, Madam Jyoti and his team has done everything with our team to make sure this event will be a successful one. I wish I wish 66th Thai Convention in Sri Lanka to be all success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tilak. And we assure you, on behalf of Thai members, we assure you from this time onward, the number of flow of passengers into Sri Lanka from India will grow many folds. Jada to nahi bol diya. Thank you very much. Now the time has come where we all are, especially I am very excited, the unveiling of our logo and the convention brochure. I would request our Madam President, along with the dignitaries, to unveil the logo and launch the brochure for the convention. Aren't you guys excited for the logo and brochure? Yes. How do you show your excitement? Woo!
Okay. So we'll, of course, the logo is there because we wanted the correct picture space also. We wanted nice photographs to come, so we didn't want to do that. But here it is, and what we talk about is how collaborate to conquer. Right there. That is the official event logo, and that's how we are all together, traveling together around the globe with absolutely synergy and collaboration. And with this, I'll also say the tagline is a unified strategy of being future ready. And that's what we are talking about, and that's how we will take our convention forward. Now to launch our logo, our brochure. There it is on the screen for everyone to see. So actually we talk about Thai, we talk about what we have done. We've got the messages from Honorable Minister of Aviation, Minister of Tourism, who are wishing us success. CEO Niti Aayog, our own Secretary, Ministry of Tourism. That's us. The team that's putting it all together. Kimali, the chairperson of Sri Lankan Tourism Promotion Bureau, Mr. Tilak, our own Vice President, HSG, Mr. Lokesh Bhattaya, Sri Ram Patel, our Honorary Treasurer. And that's the program that what we are going to be working out more in detail. These are the hotels that we are staying in. These are the hotels that are actually we're staying in and also who are hosting us for drinks and dinners and lunches and a knowledge conclave. And that's what Sri Lanka is all about. So these are some places that we feel should be visited beyond. That's what India is all about, that needs to be visited. And there we are, making a status statement that a unified strategy for being future ready. That's our entire team. The chairpersons, the management committee, the office bearers, and we're all going to work towards it to make it a huge success and actually set the standards very high for everyone to follow. Thank you so much.
Hope you all liked it. I couldn't hear the like button from the rear side. I hope you all liked it. Thank you. Actually, I think we all have planned our vacation in Sri Lanka, right? Yes. Good. We're going to have a great time in Sri Lanka. Next, request Ms. Madhubani Pereira, Director of Public Relations, SLTPB, to please come up, ma'am, and give your presentation. Thank you.
Ayubowan, may you all be blessed with long life. That is our wish from Sri Lanka Tourism. Thank you. Ms. Jyoti Mayal, President of Travel Agents Association of India. Then the Additional Director General of India Tourism. Our Acting High Commissioner for Sri Lanka in India, Ms. Niluka Kadurugama. All the members of the Thai Committee, Mr. Tilak Veerasinghe, President of the Sri Lanka Inbound to Operators Association, Mr. Ravindran, representing as the country manager for Sri Lankan Airlines, all distinguished ladies and gentlemen, media from India. It's a great pleasure for Sri Lanka Tourism to be partner with Thai in collaboration with Sri Lanka Inbound to Operators Association of Sri Lanka to host the 66th convention of Thai during the month of April, next month. So we are very delighted and we are very happy about that. So at a time we are all set for that, we thought we should give some glimpse of Sri Lanka tourism to you all to get refreshed and get ready for this trip. You may know in 13th century, Marco Polo mentioned about Sri Lanka as undoubtedly the finest island of its size in the world. This is the truth, and it's the beauty of Sri Lanka, what we have. The COVID has come and there was setback in the country, but the beauty of the country not gone. It's still there. It's the same what you have had in the past. As you all know, we are in southern tip of the Indian Ocean, the size of 65,610 square kilometer area. We are a multi-ethnic and multi-religious country and having a population about 21.9 million. In terms of tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka, I think the highest numbers we got in 2018, which about 2.3 million, and out of which Indian arrivals accounted for over 4 lakhs. As Ms. Jyoti Mayal mentioned, actually this is nothing. When we take your outbound travel, this is very, very minute number. We should be ashamed of that. Being the neighboring country, we should have achieved much more numbers from India. So our target actually for this year to get at least 20% of the expected arrivals, that is at least 1 million tourists we are expecting with this pandemic situation this year. But from India, we expect at least 20 to 25% tourists. And our long-term expectation is to get at least 1 million in a couple of years' time from India. So this is the current position as of now, like as of 15th March, I got these figures. India tops 35,627 arrivals. And this will continue actually with the air connectivity that we expected from India with Sri Lankan Airlines and other airlines starting the operations soon. Why you should think of Sri Lanka? Why it's so special? Because I think it's the authentic tourism product we have. It is in the compact Sri Lanka, what you get is enormous and the diversity is enormous. So that's what we are actually offering to the world. So to experience Sri Lanka, there are so many tourism products that we have in hand. Starting with our golden sandy beaches, the 1,300 kilometers area right throughout the coastal area. You get the year-round, the climate that would suit the coastal bed experience. Especially during the months from November to till April, our southern coast is best for the beach and beach-related activities. And from April onwards till about September, our eastern coast, especially the Arugambe, Pasikuda, Trincomalee, that area is very famous for tourist attractions, like especially beach-related activities and water sports activities. These are some of the images of the sports activities related to beaches. And something very special for Sri Lanka is you could see the 2 largest mammals on earth and see the blue whales and the elephant within short period of time. Because if you go to the jungles, from there you can pop into the sea area, which is very close by, so that is something unique we have. And our ancient history, we have over 3,000 years of heritage, and we are blessed with 6 archaeological World Heritage Sites accredited by UNESCO. So these monuments, such as the Anuradhapura, our first capital of Sri Lanka, then Polonnaruwa, when we also have the cave temple in Dambulla, with over hundreds of Buddhist statues inside a cave, and Sigiri rock fortress. It's very famous around the world, built in 3rd century BC. And Sri Dalada Maligawa, where the two-threadic temple, the sacred two threads of the Buddha is enshrined in Sri Dalada Maligawa in Kandy. Then the Dutch fort in Gaul, also World Heritage Sites. Sri Lanka also very famous for its flora and fauna. We are blessed with 14 national parks around the island, especially Min area. that is one of the largest elephant gatherings happening during the months from May to September, and you could see number of elephants actually gathering at this place. And also the wildlife safaris, very famous among the wildlife lovers. There are lots of animals and also birds one could see. Those are resident birds as well as migratory birds, and some are endemic birds for Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka also very famous for its greatest adventure and water-based activities. We have hot air ballooning, scuba diving, paragliding, surfing, snorkeling, kayaking, canoeing, golf tourism as well. Actually, trekking, hiking, whitewater rafting, mountain biking are some of other activities. We have to say, currently actually we have around 600 travelers, actually they are adventure seekers from France, came through this Red Amazon. They are currently having their tour 1 month in Sri Lanka, around 600 of them, all ladies from France, currently doing their touring. So because of Sri Lanka is famous for its adventurous activities, they have chosen. So that is the first group after pandemic we are having for this adventure tourism in Sri Lanka. We know Ayurveda, that's the mother is India. So we also have our own traditional Ayurveda system that is always linked with yoga, meditation. There are Ayurveda centers and yoga centers and meditation centers right throughout the island, very authentic and professionally conducted. And we are very happy that Sri Lanka has been listed this year as one of the top 5 countries for wellness tourism by the Global Wellness Institute. Sri Lanka being a multi-ethnic and multi-religious country, there are so many festivals happening year-round. So one of the majestic, grand festival we are having is Kandy Asala Perahara during the month of August in Kandy. This is a festival taking place for 10 days with a lot of dancers, drummers, and about 100 elephants parading in the roads of Kandy. So there are other festivals into Buddhism, Hinduism, Muslim and Christian religions as well throughout the year. We also, you all know, it's a cricket-loving nation. We have ties with India, Sri Lanka because of cricket. And also, Sri Lankan tea is very much famous all over the world. Ceylon tea, I think nobody wouldn't have forgotten that. So Ceylon tea is something that everyone will enjoy. And there are some niche tourism products Sri Lanka tourism is introducing, and wedding tourism, something we could work out with India, because I know, and we know, or all of us know, there's a lot of potential to have Indian weddings in Sri Lanka. So our travel agencies, our hoteliers are geared to handle such Indian weddings in Sri Lanka very economically. Another segment that actually we want to promote is Ramayana Yatra. We know that Prime Minister Modi is very much keen in this Ramayana Yatra program. When he visited Sri Lanka also, he had expressed that interest and extended his support for future infrastructure development in this area. We have identified about 50 sites around Sri Lanka related to Ramayana, and we are planning to do a film on Ramayana Trail, which will be a collaboration with India in coming months. Another area we could work is film tourism. We actually, Sri Lanka tourism had been taking part in some of the film festivals happening in India. We came up with our film producers and directors and showcase Sri Lanka tourism products. So these are some of the international films shot in Sri Lanka. Apart from that, there are many Indian films also shot in Sri Lanka. So there's a lot of opportunity to take Sri Lankan tourism attractions as backdrop and produce films in Sri Lanka. Another segment is cruise tourism. So this is something very important at this pandemic situation, also to get the numbers increased. Now, generally we get about 50 cruises per year from all around, like Star Cruises, likewise. But we are happy to say from June onwards, there's a cruise starting from India, Chennai, Cordelia Cruises. They will be having 4 cruises per week, and that will actually get us more tourists coming to the island. So we are very happy about it. They will be taking from Chennai to Colombo, then the down south Hambantota port, then to Trinco and to Jaffna. So that is the route. So the agents, travel agencies are working on this. So this will also an encouraging niche segment for Sri Lanka tourism. In the culinary section, Sri Lanka has a lot of different rich food culture, from to veg to non-veg to vegan, anything you mention, it's very delicious color, and these colors and all, it's mouth-watering. Sri Lanka also famous for its mice tourism. Maybe that's why Thai would have chosen Sri Lanka to have its convention, because this is also kind of a meeting that you are having in Sri Lanka. So all those facilities are getting developed. Our infrastructure is much more developed now. So it's the opportune time for you all to have any kind of meetings, incentive conferences, and invite incentive groups to come to Sri Lanka. This is a new concept like digital nomads. This came up with the pandemic. Most of them would like to come for a long-term stay, and the government has offered a visa for 1-year visa for such guests who are coming. $500 visa per year. They can stay while working. They can enjoy Sri Lanka as well. Retail tourism, something like cannot be missed, because shopping is something very much important for tourism. So there are shopping malls coming up in Sri Lanka, especially in Colombo and other area. One of such special thing is the Colombo Port City duty-free shopping. This will be actually open by this year, October. This is one of the best shopping complex, duty-free shopping mall that will be coming up in Colombo's port city itself. So, which is accessible for any tourist coming to the country, because sometimes you may not have time to shop in the duty-free area in the airport. So, those who couldn't do shopping, they could come, and there are a lot of varieties and branded stuff will be available. This will be coupled with entertainment, food, gaming, everything will be placed in this shopping mall. So that's something new. It's coming up in Colombo City, the port city. And when we talk about accommodation, you all know there are from star class accommodation up to different types of like bungalows, boutique, hotels, guest houses, homestays, jungle cabins, tree houses, ecologists, you name it, any type of accommodation facilities available in Sri Lanka to suit the need of the different clientele. And there are some international hotel chains presence also, I've just mentioned here. Then we talk about accessibility. I think we are very happy that the announcement of Sri Lankan Airlines increasing their flights from 27th of March. Similarly, Vistara Airline, then they are also doubling their flights operations. We have Air India, Indigo, SpiceJet. They all connections will facilitate more and more connections, not only from the major cities, but I think there are so many here present today, the Thai members. They were talking with me, we should actually have operations from tier 2 cities as well. So that is something we should look at in the future. And we have the highway from Bandaranaike International Airport to Colombo within 20 minutes and also its extension to the southern part of Sri Lanka. And we also have other domestic facilities, railways, helicopter rides, seaplanes, boat rides, trains, tuk-tuks, likewise. So we have 14 domestic airports, so that also facilitates the domestic airline facility. And apart from the main airport, Mattala International Airport in the southern part of Sri Lanka, it's open, and there are flights operations. Especially during the pandemic, we had a lot of flights from Russia, Ukraine came to that airport. And now from 27th of this month, we are opening up the Ratmalani International Airport. The first flights will be coming from Maldives. They're starting operations. So there are a lot of opportunities in the other airports as well in the coming years. Already I mentioned about the highways, and we're actually having this Colombo-Kandy highway constructions. Part of that is already completed. From Medigama Kurunagala section was recently open to the public. So by next year we will have the Colombo-Kandy highway also completed. Train service is also very famous in Sri Lanka. Luxury trains are available to Jaffna, Kandy, Ella, Trinco, Bandarwel, Badulla, that area. So this is something most of the tourists would like to take to see the picturesque view of Sri Lanka when you are traveling in these trains. You all know that there are so many travel agencies registered with Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, and some of them are members of our Sri Lanka Inbound Tour Operators Association, and all of them are geared to facilitate the travel of anybody to Sri Lanka. And little about investment opportunities. Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, they have one-stop unit which could facilitate the investment opportunities for a particular project. So one-stop unit facilitate all the approvals relevant to the government in setting up a project in Sri Lanka. So some of the investment opportunities we have, like in the water sports, water park, theme parks, shopping malls, marinas, entertainment area, golf courses. So a lot of investment are expected, Sri Lankan government expecting from all over the world, including India, to come and invest in Sri Lanka. So the post-COVID traveler, I think ideally Sri Lanka has everything that could offer to a post-COVID traveler. Because we say that Sri Lankan government has taken steps to have a massive vaccination drive program. So as of 17 March, we have at least 77% one dose have already given. Fully vaccinated people 65%, and even the third booster about 35% have already got. So that is something really good for Sri Lanka, and this will be encouraging thing for other people to come to Sri Lanka as a safe and secure destination. In a relaxed and bubble-free traveling for fully vaccinated travelers, and we don't have any PCR test required before boarding or even departures. So it's very easy travel now to Sri Lanka. And if there's anything more you want to get about the travel, we have our travel portal, Hello Again. You can visit that as well. So with that, there are a lot of globally recognized endorsements we have during this year for Sri Lanka, even with the pandemic situation. So with that, I think Sri Lanka is now ready to welcome you and everybody from all over the world. So at this moment, I would like to thank Taai for selecting Sri Lanka for its convention, and we are very happy to host you along with Slsito in Sri Lanka. We look forward to see you all in Sri Lanka, and we will actually work together and enhance our mutual cooperation and develop two-way tourism, like from Sri Lanka to India as well as from India to Sri Lanka, and achieve our targets in the future. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity, and we look forward to see you in April in Sri Lanka.
Yeah. It's in the earth. Our history isn't in the past. Our heritage isn't our better times. Our culture isn't done being defined. It's in the air. It's in the earth. It's in the waters. As it has been for thousands of years. As it still is this morning. Sri Lanka isn't a place, it's a marvel, a brave new world that wasn't made by the rules. She's a rebel of nature. She's a blessing of imagination, of untold innovation and resilience. Let's tell the story of Sri Lanka with the same courage this island was born of. It's in how we love, how we believe, how we protect, how we share, how we feast, and how we heal. As we dismiss strangers by making them friends. Because that stuff of stars that is beneath our feet, the brilliance that makes the monsoon waltz around lush hills and save itself to soothe scorched plains. The wonder that makes the salty seas nurture jungles of pure paradise. And the wild beauty that stays fierce and vibrant even as time tries to quieten it is in us. And now it's time to show the world Sri Lanka as it has always been, but never been realized before.
Isn't those visuals very enticing? Yes. I personally can't wait to convert this virtual trip into the physical one in the month of April. Madam Pereira, you talk about 1 million inbound passengers from India, and with the way tourism has bounced back in the Indian market, the figure is not impossible at all, and that can only be possible with the support of our airline partners, Sri Lankan Airlines and Indigo, and encouraging the way our Ministry of Tourism has a logo, Atithi Deva Bhava. I would request our friend Mr. Ravindran to please come up from Sri Lankan Airlines and give his address the gathering. Thank you.
Ayubowan, Namaskar, Vanakkam, Sastriyakal, and the President of Taai, Jyoti Mayal, and the Vice President of Taai, and Madhubani Pereira, the Director of Public Relations, SLTPB, and our friend Mr. Tilak Veerasinghe, President Slsito. Okay. A very good evening to everyone, and I would like to just share, there's always extra pressure for the first speaker and the last speaker, because either some of the notes or the points that I have prepared is already shared, or that I have nothing to just to share anymore. But anyway, the last speaker, that I being the last speaker, and it's a privilege and honor to release my extra pressure anyway, right? Okay, it's giving me great pleasure to be among this forum that consists of senior professionals and the travel trade partners and the senior policymakers for tourism of India and Sri Lanka. For this moment of time, and we welcome this decision made by the Indian government, coupled with the relaxation of PCR and the quarantine requirements for traveling to Sri Lanka as well as India. So we are confident and strongly believe that the demand for air travel ex-India will grow, particularly to the leisure and the MICE sectors. So, Madam, as you rightly said that, Subhash Kal is not nudging only you, he was continuously nudging, Sri Lankan Airlines and me, okay, exchange for Sri Lanka. So in 2019, tourism contributed USD 3.6 billion to the Sri Lankan economy. So you can imagine how important it is and how vital for us. Okay. And also, this is the third largest foreign exchange sector or the earner for Sri Lanka after expat repatriation remittances and textile garment exports. The same year, we had 1.9 million tourists visited Sri Lanka, and India was easily the highest contributor at 19%, followed by UK, which was contributed 10%, and so on and so forth. Okay. Most importantly, UL and UCall Sri Lankan Airlines, the national carrier carried approximately 25% of the tourists who arrived into Sri Lanka in 2019. But unfortunately, during the pandemic, income from tourism had virtually gone down to zero. I mean, that's no-brainer. But thankfully, the tourism industry in Sri Lanka is now in revival mode and steadily picking up pace. Yet again, India has the major role to play in this sector. In the last 3 months, that is between December 2021 to February 2022, Sri Lanka had 268,340 tourist arrivals. Okay, and I'm sure you know by now which country do you think was the largest contributor of the tourists to Sri Lanka during this period? India. Okay, so it's India. India accounted 18% of the tourist arrivals into Sri Lanka for the past 3 months. Okay, the Thai members present here today can be proud of this achievement. I think they should deserve applause. Okay, given the current global climate, it is very likely that India will continue to march ahead of as the leader in tourist travel to Sri Lanka. And I'm sure it is not just a statement, it is the fact. Okay, so UL has increased frequencies to all 9 destinations in India from 27th March. And we are currently operating 58 weekly flights to India in these 9 destinations. Okay. The good news is, this will go up to 95 weekly flights from 27th March onwards, and that is only a beginning, right? We had shaken these Indian skies more than 100 times in the past, and we are not so far from that mark. Okay, and as per my research, this is not the first time that Thai conference is going to be held in Sri Lanka. But we as a country and as national carrier are delighted that you have selected Sri Lanka as your preferred location again. A conference of this magnitude in Sri Lanka at this time will help further solidify Sri Lanka as a top MICE and leisure destination. The Thai convention will immensely contribute to that cause, and I have total confidence making that statement here. Believe me, I have total confidence making that statement here. Also, this is the need of the hour for our country to revive the tourism industry of Sri Lanka, and we are committed to that. Being the national carrier, Sri Lankan Airlines is very proud to be the airline partner for this Thai convention. And we are looking forward to giving all the delegates a first-hand Sri Lankan hospitality and world-class services on board our aircraft. With that, wish you all a productive, successful conference in Sri Lanka and a great night ahead. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Mr. Ravindran. Your confidence is definitely our strength. And next, I would like to call upon Currently, the Indian aviation is talking about Tata, 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 but still the skies are blue. I love to repeat this again and again. And next I'll request the person behind the blue sky currently, Mr. Sanjay. Sir, please, if you could come up and address the gathering. It's because of him I learned one new thing, that in India they touch 150 airports. That is really, really remarkable. I think we need to have an applause for this Indian carrier.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. First of all, let me congratulate Mrs. Mayal for taking this big initiative in terms of getting us together here, and Madam Brar and all other dignitaries on the dais, and also the Taai members across the country, members from the media, trade media, as well as fellow colleagues. I have my team members Manish Puri, Manish Arup, Sheetal here, who are always there to kind of support our effort. What I just want to remind everyone of is last year, 25th of March, last year, 2020, 2020 was the first lockdown in the country. On the midnight of 24th of March 2020, all the flights were grounded, and we had a situation wherein out of more than 200 planes flying, we had to kind of plan entire rotations and everything just overnight because the notice was very short. And you can imagine what happened to thousands of, not only the passengers, but also thousands of travel agents across the country. And after that, whatever happened is in front of us. The fact that Government of India, along with the various ministries, did a great job in terms of support to civil aviation, Ministry of Finance, in terms of pain which was going through, the industry was going through. And I'm sure with her leadership and support from all of you, we are now getting to a better situation. I think the Taai convention of 2020, 27th of March, has gone ahead of the pre-COVID capacity in the marketplace. So effective 27th of March, we'll be launching about 1,700 daily flights across our network. We feel very confident about the situation going forward. We are quite excited about the future, and we hope that we can contribute to the success of Taai, its convention, and also contribute to each other's growth, bringing back us the glory of 2020 or before. So I once again want to thank Mrs. Mayal for her great initiative in bringing us all together, and hopefully we can make a big success out of it.
We are bringing mic to your voice. And we request you to identify yourself before the question, please.
Congratulations, madam, for your post. My name is Pradeep Kumar, my friend, in the name of vaccination.
Could you repeat your question, please?
Can you please repeat your question? Please
What I am asking you, international tourists, the overseas from the overseas countries, the way the tourists are facing the vaccination problems, it will be very difficult for the tourist arrival in our country. So the potential tourist will get the boost to come in our country very soon, or it will take time.
No, the vaccine. Everyone is vaccinated now, mostly in all the countries. There's a huge drive of vaccination everywhere. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of footfalls. And I'm also sure that people who are coming without vaccination, the government will look into see how they have to get the RT-PCR test or whatever test they have to do before they land into India. So of course, in the wholesome way, tourism always needs to be protected. We also need to protect our people and others when we are traveling. So I think it will be there. I don't think there will be any issue when that is concerned.
So the message is that there is no problem from India airport and some other places in India.
Program for what? You're already vaccinated. No, there's no problem at all.
So I'll also quickly just add on this. See, every country has a protocol for people traveling into their country, and so does India. If you're fully vaccinated, then all you need to do is to put all the details on the ASO with our portal. And if you're not vaccinated, then obviously you need an RT-PCR report, and that's not unique to India. This is how all countries need to operate in the near future at least, and then of course it depends on how COVID behaves and if there's a variant or not. But for now, India is following the protocols the way the world is. Nothing unique about what we are doing.
Good evening. My name is Raghav Khosla. I represent My Showcase magazine. First of all, I would like to thank Taai and congratulate Taai team for hosting such a great event and for their upcoming 66th convention. My question is to Madam Jyoti Mayal. Well, ma'am, I would like to understand from you.
So the growth rate is going to be multiple. We've seen that even in the COVID time, that our domestic market boomed. Something which we Indians had not even seen our own destinations. We started traveling. And actually, I would also commend the Ministry of Tourism. I think it was Rupinder's initiative of Dekho Apna Desh, which created a huge awareness into the people. And I think there were so many places which even I didn't know existed in India. So I think all these drives, like I always say, crisis brings opportunities, and the opportunity was that we actually encashed on it where the domestic market is concerned. Going forward, the moment we see flights, it's starting from 27, and I must say Ministry of Tourism has been working very, very collaboratively with us, listening to us patiently and actually bringing in prospects what we've been asking them. And they are actually our voice with other ministries. So I think with that coming into place, there's bounds to recover everywhere. Target in terms of reaching numbers?
Yeah, tourist arrivals. To your email. So that's the only thing you face it, but it's very free for tourists. No, until and unless
actively taking up with the concerned authorities. Hopefully it will happen sometime in future.
I just want to, one second, Preeti. Also to add on to this, we had requested for a long-term visa, which the government is now going to be giving all international people coming into the country. So we wanted a long-term visa, which the Ministry of Tourism and ME has agreed to it, and they'll be launching it also soon, if not launched already. It's already there, no? So they've just launched it because of our insistence. Because when these days, post-COVID, we are looking at people coming for a longer duration. And we are wanting to sit at the same in the long duration. They give a multiple entry, which also they have started actually. But it's going to be becoming more and more streamlined, so that people, when they're coming for long-term visa, can visit the regional countries and come back into India also. Because post-COVID, we are looking at people staying for longer than earlier times. Thanks. Preeti, yes.
So hello, I'm Preeti Prakash. I write for Daily Guardian. I have two questions. I mean, I have questions for two people. One is was the Excellency Mr. Nicola, but I guess he is not here. So anyone from the embassy can answer. There have been reports in major dailies and over the media that Sri Lanka's economic condition is not very good these days. There is a shortage of food, fuel, even medicines. So how do you plan to promote tourism in such a state in your country, and what assurances you can give the tourists? My second question, which I will just continue, is for the tour operators of Sri Lanka. In this condition, how do you plan to attract tourists in Sri Lanka with this present state? Thank you.
Okay. Answer for the first question. I have been with Thai team in Sri Lanka 10 days ago, or a little over 10 days ago. I think they are the witness to say, very sorry to say, sometimes social media carry some information which is not actual. And of course we had a shortage of fuel, but in government sets. But we have a different organization called IOC, the Indian Oil Corporation, and in those sets we could get fuel, but at a little higher rate. Of course, that was one of the reasons you should have seen a lot of queues in the government controlled petrol sets, and there was a shortage of fuel. Then, if anybody operate tourism, hotel or otherwise officers or even a vehicle, for vehicles we had to issue a special pass. Those travel agents who have been registered with the Sri Lanka tourism, they get the benefit from government as well as from the Sri Lanka Transport Board also having their own petrol fueling stations. We could go to those and get our tank filled. But those, I'm saying those who is having license or professionally registered with the tourism authority to take the passengers around. Then the other one, food shortage, I'm sorry ma'am, is not the reality. It's not the reality. So in fact, yesterday in the evening, I was invited for a little dinner. They even said, what we hear here or what we see here is not really, it can be in one or two pockets, but it's not the day-to-day life. And also the generator. If you run a hotel, the hotel have to have their alternative energy. Otherwise, they can't operate the hotel. So we have a clear guideline in tourism. Therefore, I think we as a tour operators, we will make sure, with a very confidentially we say, if you come through any registered or recognized operators, you won't get any issue. And till today, every day arrivals are increasing. And at the moment, Colombo, in the city center, we have shortage of rooms. And from 19th till 22nd during your visit, there is a huge demand for rooms in Colombo, and they even go from Colombo to Negombo, because we had taken most of the room for your groups as well. So I hope I had given you the little what I know about the country. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Priyanka Saxena from Business of Travel Trade. Sir, I have a follow-up question. Actually, I wanted to ask what Preeti did, but just to reiterate, you said social media, this is, things we are hearing and reading in the mainstream, or the social media, so to say. So is there a counter argument or a counter, perhaps a marketing or a promotional strategy that maybe Sri Lanka tourism needs to come out with in order to not everyone can have an interaction with you and clear their point of view. So maybe if there are doubts, somebody's planning a holiday, but they are reading all these reports. So are you planning to coming out with any promotional marketing strategy to clear these doubts or to, to put their minds at ease? And Ms. Barar, if I can ask you we're talking about promoting outbound from India. So any plans on TCS on, there's been much talk, much request that has come the way of Ministry of Tourism for removing TCS. It's only making international holidays expensive for, are you looking at that?
Okay. We have to go through the procurement procedures. After 2 years of lockdown situation, the country started, Sri Lanka Tourism started country planning session. So we had identified a few countries, and India is one of the priority for us to organize our marketing campaign. So I think we are in a selecting process of the PR agency at the moment. Because since it is going through all the procurement procedures and all, it takes a little time. And I think, I agree with you, this is the time we need the right marketing campaign, PR campaign, and relationship. And I don't think we will have an answer quickly because, again, procurement procedures. But we have to thank Taai and Ms. Mayal. I think this is start. Even this is, after some time, I was meeting a gathering like this in tourism. You see, I think this itself will be a good chance for us to drive and tell the world the truth. So you will see. Please come. We are there with you. You will see the reality. Thank you.
So representing the IRS, I understand how painful taxes are. And TCS is just one of them. But yes, on a more serious note, we are in discussions with the Ministry of Finance and are aware of the pain it's causing in many ways, in more ways than one actually. And hopefully in the near future we shall be heard more positively. It's been said.
Priyanka, I think I'm not saying it because we have someone sitting on the dais from Ministry of Tourism, but like I also said it in my presentation, they have been our voice to all the other ministries, and we feel very proud to be associated with them with a changed mind, because we worked with Ministry of Tourism over the years, but we knew how they had a different way of looking at things. But now with the perspective we have given to them as an association through faith and through our association as Taai, I think now our connect, and actually they are representing us throughout the country. So we are very hopeful that all these things will fall into place soon. Anyone else, please? I think now they all want a drink. We all want one. So I think then we'll thank you.
Friends, when we speak, we repeat what we know, but when we listen, we learn new things. Respected dignitaries, today evening by listening to whatever you have shared with us, we all have definitely enhanced our knowledge about tourism. So thank you. On this note, I would request our Honorary Secretary General, Mr. Vidya Lokesh, if he could come and give a vote of thanks.
I'll keep it short. Sorry, I'll keep it short. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Is such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched. It must be felt by heart. I feel honored and privileged for the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion. Taai would like to thank all the honorable delegates who blessed us with their presence from across India. On behalf of the entire managing committee of Taai and my colleague office bearers, I would like to thank our main sponsoring partner, So Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan Tourism Board, host association partner, Slsito, host airline partner, Sri Lankan Airlines, Taai travel partner, Indigo, preferred insurance partner, Asigo, travel trade friends from Sri Lanka and India, and friends from the media. On behalf of the Taai Managing Committee, we convey our deepest regards to Mr. Tilak, President Slsito, His Excellency Mr. Niluka, Sri Lankan High Commission, Madam. Presence of mind
A tribute yourself.
And the sand beneath your feet. Step by step. And let the warm waves wash over you.
Rise with the
Country. And discover the royal fortress for Malvern built 50 centuries ago. Relax in the afternoon heat. So, Sri Lanka.
Side behind. थोड़ा सा साइड पे you're coming in.
Can you hear me?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Just to know, it's getting light.
Well, or if the things are, stabilizing, we will add those two destinations also in times to come.
How these last 3 months for you?
Well, it was a very challenging, not only last 3 months, the entire, year, or say that for that matter last. We have carried, passengers to Sri Lanka and also previously. Right. So now the ADG made a very valid statement. So actually I came honestly to promote only tourism from India to Sri Lanka only.
I would like to come in details from reason. Yeah. We have received once an application. Okay. So mention